Hey, what's going on, class? This is lecture 1, and we're going to talk about the 10 graphs that you have to know in order to communicate effectively using data. Now, I'm going to give you a 3 layout or rubric so you can better understand this. First, I want you to be able to express or explain every single graph with one word or phrase. Then I want you to know how to build or construct the graph. We're going to talk a little bit about the architecture, how you put the graph together on the Y and X axis. And then lastly, I want to give you an example. I want you to be able to give a storyline to show that you really internalize and can really express and explain what these graphs are all about. Let's kick things off with the bar graph. Now, a bar graph is all about categorical comparisons. So let's talk about some categories. Let's say we're Apple computers, or just Apple now. We sell watches, we sell Macintosh, and we sell a lot of different other items, chargers, headphones. Each one of those categories will have its own bar chart so I can see how many Apple Watches I sold versus how many MacBook Pros. Bar charts are perfect for comparing 2 categories. Next thing I want to talk to you about is called a stacked bar chart. Now, a stacked bar chart allows you to show some survey results or show the breakdown of proportions within a particular category. So categorical comparisons is a classic bar chart, but if I want to dive in and show the proportions of those different categories or the makeup, a classic stacked bar chart is the perfect thing that you want to use. Next, I want to talk to you a little bit about the line chart. Now, a line chart in one word is about trends and changes over time. So how you construct a line chart on the x-axis, you're always going to have some interval of time, as in days of the week or months or years, and then you're just going to plot out how things are increasing or decreasing or trending over time. One example, if you're Facebook, you want to look at the monthly active users growing over time, or if you're Instagram, number of people downloading the app. So easily what you can do is on the line chart, plot out over the years and see how many monthly active users you have over time. That's what a line chart is all about. Next, I'm going to talk to you about the pie chart. Now, a pie chart is very simple. It's all about breaking down proportions. I only like to use pie charts when you have a binary, pass-fail, or 2-step process. If you have 2 variables, a pie chart is okay. Once you get into multiple variables and there are a lot of slices in that pie, it starts to get a little bit confusing. So if I'm at a company and I want to measure my head count, you either got 2 options, you got male or female, and you can see the breakdown thereof. If I'm giving you an exam that's pass-fail, I can see how many people passed, how many people failed it. So those are the 2 examples of what you want to do or what you want to use a pie chart for. Next, I'm going to talk to you about a box and whisker chart. Now, a box and whisker chart is really breaking down distributions and identifying outliers. There are 5 points in a classic box and whisker chart. The first is the minimum value. The next is going to be your Q1 value, which is the 25th percentile. Then we have our median value, which is the middle number. Q3, which is the 75th percentile. And then we'll have our maximum number. Finding outliers allow you to better assess your data set and understand the variables. So what you want to do is really build out the 5 steps, then find and identify the variables when you're using a box and whisker chart. And it's the perfect graph when you're trying to compare an individual to a group. Next thing I want to talk to you about is the bullet chart. Now, the bullet chart really measures targets versus performance. So think of a bar chart, but instead of just having the columns, you're going to have a little line that measures the target. So if you're doing a sales quota, let's say you're working for Comcast and you have to sell a certain number or close a certain number of business deals, your target is going to give you the line up at the top, and then your actual performance will be measured against the bar so you can see, relatively speaking, how close you are to the target or if you surpassed it. Next thing we're going to look at is called the scatter plot. Now, a scatter plot in one word is all about correlation. You want to find are 2 variables correlated to each other. Let me give you an example. Let's say I run a coffee shop, I'm Starbucks or La Colombe. I want to be able to see, does the weather actually affect the number of coffee sales that I have? So in order to plot those 2 things out, I'm going to have my independent variable on the x-axis, which is the weather, and my dependent variable on the y-axis, which is the number of coffees sold, and I can plot those out to see if there's any correlation there. Next thing I want to talk to you about is the histogram. Now, a histogram is different from a bar chart in that it counts out frequency distribution. Histogram is all about frequency distribution. So how you build this is on the x-axis, you're gonna have bins, which is a range of values. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have, you run a movie theater and you're trying to understand which block or which age group is frequenting your movie theater the most. So at the base of your chart, you might have from 10 to 15, that's one bin or range of values. And then you might have 16 to 20, that's another range of values, then 21 to 25. And then you just wanna count the number of occurrences or the frequency and see if you have a high concentration of younger people coming or middle-aged people or older. Histogram is great for frequency distribution. Next, we're going to talk about Gantt charts. Now, Gantt charts is for scheduling and project management. How you build out a Gantt chart is you're going to have on the y-axis a list of tasks that you need to complete, and on the x-axis you're going to have some interval of time. And basically, you're going to use bars to show the duration or how long these different tasks take and which ones you need to complete first and in what order. Next, I'm going to talk to you about a map graph. Now, a map graph is very simple and easy to explain. All you're just gonna have is some geographical location or some map, let's say Philadelphia, and then you might wanna say, okay, where are all the high income people living in Philadelphia? And then you use color to show concentration laid over top of a map graph. Next thing I wanna talk to you guys about is called a highlight table. Now, a highlight table is just your classic table that uses color so that the recipient of the graph can actually understand the point that you're trying to make and have fast time to sight. So these are the graphs that I want you to know. You want to be able to explain them. It's like a tool bag that you have, so you can just apply whatever graph that you need in order to drive the point home. On the next video, I'm going to walk you through the 7 data stereotypes. Thank you.